What's up, guys? This is American Shogun coming to you yet again from the Dread Fort this lovely chilly spring night, and I wanted to quickly get a video out for something that I just learned about today. Of course, thanks for the love, for the new subscribers, for the likes, the comments. Very much appreciated, of course. This is going to be an exceptionally short video, or I think it will be. Something I just learned about through Facebook. Apparently, and to be honest, I've never heard of this town in South Carolina. It's in Hampton County. And if you don't know where Hampton County is, that's in the Low State. And the town is Estill. I don't think it would be pronounced anything else. Estill. I'm pretty sure it would be Estill. And maybe it's pronounced slightly different, but that's what it looks like to me. Estill. And on April 3rd, they had an emergency meeting of their town council. And they passed an ordinance, a curfew ordinance. Now, I saw this originally on Facebook, and someone had taken a picture of the ordinance and the wording and what it does, and I honestly thought it was fake just because it's so outrageous in what it says. And so I looked it up, and lo and behold, you go to the town website, and they did have an emergency meeting to vote on a curfew ordinance with penalties for those who break it. Now, you could say, oh, well, different areas are doing curfews, this and that and the other. Okay, that's one thing. But what this curfew does is insane, especially for the state of South Carolina. So, I don't remember the exact wording, but it prohibits you from possessing, selling, trading, disposing of, or using firearms and ammunition and explosives from the hours of 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. You basically cannot be armed if you have to go to, let's say, help a family member in an emergency situation, because there are provisions of things you can do, places you can go. So within the ordinance, the curfew, there are provisions of exceptions where you can go do things. Yet, you can't be armed with a firearm. And the way it's worded, it might even mention just any type of weapon. So you cannot be armed to defend yourself while traveling anywhere in that town's jurisdiction from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m., which is illegal. They can't do that. That's a violation of the Second Amendment. And there's laws on the books that specifically talk about towns, counties, cities being unable to pass ordinances that directly violate that. And then this one is just especially ridiculous. It also includes the consumption of alcohol from those hours, from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. You can't drink alcohol in your own house. What are they thinking? The most ridiculous laws are the laws that are unenforceable. And this is quite possibly one of the most unenforceable laws I've ever heard of. You can't drink alcohol you own in your own house from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. And how do they plan to enforce this? Or really any part of it? Now, I know nothing about this town. I know nothing about its culture. I looked it up on Google just to kind of see some statistics about it. Apparently, in the city, there's barely over 2,000 people, or in the town, there's barely over 2,000 people. Within Hampton County, there's around 20,000 or 21,000 people. So it's a very low population area. But let's say 200 men from that town, and maybe let's just say the county, because If this happened in Greenville County in a small town, people would be up in arms, and you have people traveling from all over the county to put an end to it. But let's say they get 200 armed men going up to the town council building, let's say tomorrow, all fully armed. What are they going to do? Let's say it's a Virginia scenario. As I've talked about before, it takes stimuli to cause civil conflict. Could this be the foundation of Electric Boogaloo 2? Probably not. But let's just say, what if 200 men went armed to the town council building? There probably wouldn't be anybody there given the shutdown. Let's just say they did it as symbolic. And they were all armed. The town police wouldn't be able to do anything to them. This would be a situation where the patriots in that area would just need to man up, go there armed, protest. Police say break it up. I say no. Have someone speak, hey, we outnumber you. You can't force us to do this. What you're doing is in direct violation of the Constitution. You have no legal right to do this. And all of you are breaking the law of the land. You're the criminals here. And I'll say this, any police officer, I was just disgusted when I heard this. It's funny, but at the same time, it's just completely disgusting and enraging that they would do this. And any law enforcement officer trying to enforce or uphold that law is a criminal. Any government official who voted for it and supports it is a criminal. And they're a stupid criminal at that. How it's an unenforceable law. It's an immoral law. It's unconstitutional. It's just it's totally ridiculous. And the coronavirus has just put on full display the deficiencies in a lot of leaders around the nation. And after all this, maybe the people in Estill don't care about it, but you should boot all of those idiots out of office. You should run them out of your town, and never speak of this again. It's just insane. And I more so wanted to put this out to let people know what's happening, especially in South Carolina. Ultimately, it's not that relevant. Again, I've never even heard of this town, given their population. They're insignificant, but the people there, they're still having their rights violated. And honestly, this could be possibly, if you want to get conspiratorial, a case study, I guess you could say, a manufactured case study that certain people, let's say from Columbia or Charleston, maybe suggested or wanted the people in Estill to do, to kind of lay the foundation, say, well, look, we already have towns doing this type of regulation for firearms and alcohol. We need to do the same thing in Columbia. We need to do the same thing in Charleston. That could be it. Even if it's not, they'll still be able, if there's elected officials there and law enforcement officials there that want to do something like this, as idiotic as it may be, they could use this town ordinance as justification. They could say, well, look, they've already done it. There's precedence for it. That's going down a dark path, a really dark path, that you push the wrong people, the wrong patriots in high enough numbers, it's not going to turn out well for you. We saw how Virginia was doing, and thankfully that situation resolved itself peacefully. But in a pandemic scenario, in the scenario we find ourselves in, if governments start trying to enact laws like this, especially in super extreme pro Second Amendment territory like South Carolina, it is not going to turn out well for anybody. But as usual, be prepared, and God bless the Republic.